Holy cow, look at this move on KWM with our indicator here, giving the pivot watch signal around 368 down there. Little yellow signal there, breakup structure, bullish signal, pivot zone to mitigate risk, and what an incredible move. Look at this. All the way down here from 368 lows to a high of 647. Let's measure that move out. So if you get in this candle that closed above, right, that's our pivot signal, that's our breakup structure, green trend zone. Okay, great. So we can take this trade. It is high risk. However, 58% over $2 per share, and this isn't a matter of minutes. If we measure these candles from top to bottom, or bottom to top, I should say, we're looking at a total of 19 bars. These are 1 minute candles, so 19 minutes, 20 minutes, you're getting that type of move on KWM. That's incredible. Well, we caught an even better one this morning, and I'll go over that in just a second. But guys, this is going to be our indicator, the 1 minute Bullish Pivot Pro. This indicator is going to spot and identify the areas of value. So you're going to see these pivot watch signals. If I double click on this, I can make these a little bit larger. So let's see, pivot watch signal, normal size. Let's see if that changes that one. And there we go. So you can see that a little bit better. And let's go with the signal as well. We'll go normal size on that. Should make this breakup structure a little bit bigger. There we go. So it's a little easier to see for you guys here in this demonstration. But what we're seeing down below on the histogram, volume, volume, volume. I love volume. Okay. That's a check. We can confirm that. We can confirm that this is now giving pivot watch signal after pivot watch signal after pivot watch signal. And what we're looking for, this is basically identifying an area of value and saying, look for that breakup structure. Look for that candle that's basically saying, I'm sick of downtrending. It's time for that reversal. And that's what this indicator is doing. So even though it's built for momentum as well, you can see this dip by here, pivot, 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 finally, breakup structure, pivot zone. If I zoom in on this, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So there's your pivot watch 368. Here's your breakup structure. That's what we're looking to follow after the pivot watch. So that is a beautiful setup. Closed above, we then have a pivot zone formed that helps us mitigate risk. So if I'm getting into this position, I know if we come below 368, that's it. I cut my position. So if I'm getting in on this candle or I'm getting in on a pullback to this trend zone, I'm setting my stop loss below this pivot zone to give it some room, give it some breathing room, and that's really about it, right? And at this point, we're looking for that continuation. And all of a sudden, boom, it explodes. We got this green candle here. So now the strategy is in conjunction with the trend. So this is a trend move here. This is a strategy here, again, closing above the pivot zone, allowing us to mitigate risk by saying, okay, that zone is where we need to stay above. If we close below, that's it. We exit our position. No question about it, right? And this is a massive move. Again, measuring this out from this entry candle here to the top of this move where we're seeing these BVTs, which are a bullish vertical trend. It's 56%. These BVTs are letting you know, hey, this is a red flag at the top of this move. You might want to be careful. You can see at the top of this move also the key level spotter letting us know this is a short watch. So for our short traders, guess what? You also made a really nice trade on this one, KWM, on the downside. But guys, in the pre-market, we nailed this one for about 100% on KWM. I did not take, of course, the full size on this one. There were some red flags. However, this close above the pivot zone was a beautiful setup, and that's where I took my trade. Closed above the pivot zone. We have not filled the gap to this level. Looking to take profit as we gap up here. In a single candle, we move up 34%. And at the top of this move, again, entry candle is this green one here. You can see the color change. We have the trend in conjunction with the strategy. We have a pivot zone. Great. All of it's great. We get in the single candle, you're up 54%, $1.52 on your trade. That's amazing, right? 54%. I couldn't help but take some profit. So I did, secured profit, held a lotto for continuation. Then all of a sudden we see it go all the way up to the highs here of 584, which is the top of this move. I'll draw a line there so you guys can see that. Top of this move is around 585, 584. So at this point, we filled those gaps. Want to see it above that. Okay, we closed above here. We failed that level. That is a short signal. This is a, messed that up there. This is the short signal down below the line. This is another short signal. And at this point, again, we want to see it above this zone and, of course, above our pivot zone, which is 639. And we've just about filled the gap to 650. If we draw a line at the 650 mark, $half test, Alt-H, there's our $half. We want to close above that. We've just about filled the gap, but not quite. So still, if we close above 639, 640, and then, of course, 650, that is what we're watching for continuation and confirmation. Until then, we're looking at these breakup structure signals to give us those little bounce plays. And oftentimes, you're going to see something like this where it equates to a nice little win, right? If you take this trade here, You get in here. This is a topless move, 5%, 22 cents per share. Not bad. Not a bad scalp, right? But this here is a trend reversal. This is a beautiful, beautiful move. And of course, you can catch that with our indicator. KWM in the morning, you can see when we finally started to get this volume down below, that's when we start being attracted to it. We had the BVTs letting us know, hey, be careful. This is a bullish vertical trend. That is a red flag. So we might want to adjust our size or maybe just avoid it, right? So I avoided that setup. This close above, took that setup, and wouldn't you know, it worked out to be an absolute monster of a trade. So if anyone got in here, this is the entry. This is the top of that move. We're talking 110%. Beautiful. I took the bulk of the profit, I think around 80%. But regardless, guys, this is what we're looking for. This is what I was talking about yesterday on MCTR. This is the beauty of low flow trading, and this is the beauty of our indicators. You can find it at bullishboblive.com. The point of these indicators is to, number one, mitigate risk. So we're always building risk mitigation into our indicators here. You can see that with our pivot zones. Again, close above, bullish, close back below, bearish. Very simple, right? Simple method here. And as we close above, that's where we're taking our trade. Boom, it explodes. Okay, great. We're locking in profit. Red candles, that is a bearish trend. We want to wait for green candles. There's a green candle. Did not close above this zone, or it did, but just barely. If you look at the close here, something that's interesting. We filled the gap to 550. I know this may sound confusing to some. I'll draw a line at 550. So right there, again, half and whole, half and whole. So that line over here, we filled that gap to the $half level. So again, we want to see it close again above the gap it's filled up to. So 550 is that gap. We have not filled to $6 or 584. We should move this up to 6 right there, half and whole, right? So 550, $6, 650, half and whole. So as we close above this white line, we're looking for it to then hit this white line as a target. So I'm taking profit into that. So it's all predetermined before I ever take the trade. This candle here, it is a green candle closed above the pivot zone just barely with a topping tail. But if you see, as I hover over this candle up here at the top, the C for close, the close of this candle was $5.48. So did not close over our 550 level, and that is our concern. We want to see it close over 550 before trading this one aggressive, of course. So this would be either a fail or a false break, something I would not be interested in taking. Now this over here, I would possibly take something like that. It did then pull back. We have now filled the gap just about to the 650, but not quite. So technically speaking, if we close above this pivot zone, because that is our most, I guess, tallest gap reached, you can say. If we close above that pivot zone, which is going to be the top of this move right around here, 639, then that's where we're going to be looking for a trade. You can see that right here, resistance 639. We're about 29% off of that resistance. So until we get up to that resistance, this is not confirmation. This is not continuation. Instead, this is a bounce play, and we can have those bounce plays incorporated in this indicator as well with these yellow signals here. And the settings that I have, guys, if I double click on this, you'll see I have mine set to 5 and 5 on the pivot and sensitivity. That's what I prefer. It just really eliminates some of those alerts, so I don't have as many on my chart. And the 5 and 5 is where I'm going to really keep that set. So that's going to give me less alerts. One here, one there. Both worked out to be nice trades. One, of course, is better than the other, but still both working out to be successful trades. So that's our 1 minute Bullish Pivot Pro. Guys, this is KWM. Beautiful move today. This has the most volume at this time, 90 million shares traded today and still counting. It's only 11:20 a.m. Eastern time at the time making this video. But guys, if you found any value in this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to join our Discord and see me live trade every day, Monday through Friday, starting at 7 a.m. Eastern time in our pre-market session, you can join us at bullishboblive.com. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.